Oh, hello. Welcome to another Rare Leader conversation. And Danielle, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's hard for me to express my feelings.
Sometimes it is, yes.
Am I the only one in this? Or is it like, am I alone in this? Or is other people experiencing the same thing here? There's a lot about gratitude, and we talk about it quite often. In today's discussion, we're going to talk about how to express your feelings peacefully with some gratitude. And then actually, I'm going to go ahead and for those of you guys who are live, if you're watching us on um, YouTube, Twitter, or in the Regulators group, you're gonna enjoy this conversation. And I have a feeling that someone watching this today is gonna go, "Wait a second, is Tony and Danielle talking to us?" And it wasn't intentional, but it may be. And we're gonna start out first off with a poem by the great poet William Blake. And he wrote, I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not. My wrath did grow. If there's some lessons I've learned when it comes to suppressing my feelings, both positive and negative ones, is that it kept me from being all that I can be, whether it be at work, whether it be in my relationships, whether it be with my friendships. But not only that, but I learned if you internalize your emotions, you're growing. Listen to this, into the very same poison tree that William Blake wrote about. So, in other words, we're going to talk about today about not planting the poison tree seed. Danielle, do you find, like, for example, when you conceal your true feelings, that there's an internal pressure that causes like negative emotions to stir up like anger, resentment, etc.
Yeah, I think when even if you don't feel like you can share them and you start to harbor them, that it starts to just grow. And whether you try to ignore it and blow it off or sweep it under the rug, it continues to grow inside, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. It comes out in some sort of way.
And that's when that moment happens when you everything explodes, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you like go at that person, and I think everyone who's watching here today can attest to a situation like this, where also they're happy-go-lucky, life is going grand, all of a sudden, whether it be their boss, their coach, a friend, or family member, absolutely explodes on them, and they're wondering, what did I do wrong, right? But when we all of a sudden like that tea kettle blows over, what typically happens then?
Well, I think you have a conversation finally, um,
Hmm.
and get it off your chest. I don't know necessarily that it's always a nice conversation because we've let it sit there for so long.
And I think too, you can, like you say, it may not be nice, and it may cause you to say things you don't mean. And actually, what it does, it causes pain to the people that you love the most. So this is even more reason then to express your feelings peacefully, which is sometimes easier said than done. But what are some of the other benefits you gain from expressing your feelings peacefully?
Well, I think it helps you like learn how to communicate better. I think it helps the relationship grow stronger when you're able to do that. And even even in the times when it's not done peacefully, like I know that we work towards doing that because it's uncomfortable. We don't know how to do that. We sometimes harbor the feelings because we feel bad that we are upset about something, and we feel guilty that we are feeling that way, and so we don't want to share that, but yet that's how you're feeling, and it's okay to have the feelings that you're feeling.
Right. And what too, you can diffuse that negative energy that builds up. and that resentment that builds up. I mean, you'll feel less stress, tension, anger when you truly put all your feelings on the table. And we've talked about in the past the conversations where feelings aren't always facts, right? And feelings are there to indicate what's going on versus dictate what's going on. And I think sometimes when things boil over, we first correct someone else versus first connecting with them. And in today's conversation, if you guys are watching, I just want you to write down this phrase: connect before you correct. I'll say that one more time: connect before you correct. And gratitude goes a long way in expressing yourself. So when we say expressing your feelings, it doesn't mean you should go around putting others down, and it doesn't mean that you should do finger wagging or accusing, does it?
Mhm.
You know, sometimes you really want to, it feels really good. I always feel bad afterwards too. Like after, and I've done it, I've been guilty of it. Because I was feeling different things. I just kept on letting it sit there, and I'd like, push it underneath the rug, and then all of a sudden I came out, and it may not have been the nicest way to come out. Um, and what I've learned is like, you can do it creatively. You can express your feelings in an email, putting it in a draft, and don't send that email right away, right? Wait 24 hours to send it. Um, but whatever you do, you got to focus on the problem, not the person. Because the truth of the matter is, we all make mistakes, don't we? I mean, I know Daniil doesn't make mistakes typically, but I know I make mistakes. And if you think you can't be that open about your feelings, it's hard because I know could be watching this right now. Well, if I say that, they're going to go off the handle. That may be true. But how many times when we go ahead and put that story out there and actually live the story that we thought in our mind wasn't actually true?
I think a lot of times I think we build it up to be something more than it is, and it's more an internal frustration that we have, um, and probably thinking this is how I would respond if this was said to me, and so we start to project that.
Yeah. And you know, we have a dog. His name is Cooper, and he's not doing well, health wise. And we're having to come to that hard decision of what's humane for him and the quality of life. And this is a tough decision. Like, I've experienced years where I've heard people talk about their pets dying, and like, it's a pet, right? People go, "Oh, it's your family, though," and I'm like, "Well, I have dogs, and I don't know," but I didn't have to broach the subject of death. And there's a saying that says, "It doesn't affect you until it affects you." And for me, expressing my feelings initially about this was really tough because it felt like, okay, yeah, I see that he's not doing good physically. I understand he has challenges health wise, but I don't want to give up on him. Like, I felt like I was giving up. And I'm in Jalen. We don't give up. So I was conflicted with that. And, and I just shared some of my feelings one time with Daniil, and they I should have reread this article I wrote years ago before I shared them. Because I may not have been the kindest at the time. So I apologize, Danielle, for approaching it the way I did at the time, and thank you for giving me the grace. Um, but I think that to remember this when you're reacting, and we're going to go into a moment here about how to use gratitude to express yourself. Remember, a thought doesn't have a meaning until you attach a meaning to it. And sometimes we got to stop ourselves. Like, we were at the gym last night, and I sat there and thought, like, we're making the decision for our pet's quality of life and the humane thing to do. And a moment I had that moment of sadness, and I asked myself, why am I sad? Like, why am I attaching that emotion to this thought? Because a thought doesn't have a meaning until you attach a meaning to it, right? Until you label it. And I breathe. I remember Danielle's like going, okay, what's going on? I'm saying I'm processing right now and coming to grips with it. And it's sometimes easier said than done, but I thought, what meaning do I want to attach to this situation? So, for those of you guys who are watching, if you think you can't be that open about your feelings, you start out a little nicer first and express what you're thankful for first. So, what would be some examples of that, Danielle, of expressing what you're thankful for first before expressing your feelings?
Well, I think, being thankful for, the friendship or whoever the relationship that you're about to talk to, what you appreciate about it, and understanding that because of the relationship that you have, that you feel that you can now share this of um, because of that relationship. And so I think that it's important just to express starting there, and then you can share what's been going on and that it's this problem. It's not that person.
Mm. But what if I'm one of those people, and I've been there and I've felt this at times, you feel like you have nothing to be grateful for? I have
Then
nothing.
that's
What?
I'm grateful for.
Huh?
You actually have a feeling.
I mean, you're just not looking hard enough, right? Because there's so many joys within our lives that our negative emotions often disguise, right? For example, this morning I had a great breakfast. I opened my doggone eyes today. Hallelujah. That's something to be grateful for, right? Um, so when you're expressing your feelings peacefully with a couple of gratitude, you got to focus on the positive, rewarding experiences first and foremost, and then express your feelings openly and honestly with an attitude of gratitude for all that, like you said, that you have. How do you think that will help you in terms of your confidence then?
Well, I think when you start be more comfortable with how you're feeling and understanding that because you're human and you do have feelings, that it helps you to build on that confidence that you can actually be someone that's proud of being able to share what's on your mind. And like you said, it's not finger wagging and pointing fingers. And it's not, when you are expressing this gratitude, it's not fluff, um, just to fill their bucket. It's like, it's genuine gratitude for who they are, whatever the situation is. It's not something that you're just filling the air with.
I think too, if when it involves another person, I think at times, at least for me, it was I who really misunderstood what was going on. And instead of getting clarification on what happened, I built this story and perception of what happened. I remember years ago, I was sitting down with a mentor, and him and I had a really good relationship. I don't know if you remember this or not. And I thought I had did something wrong. Like I felt like how he was reacting to me in our meetings and in our public forum was like different. Like I felt like I literally did something wrong. And it made me more standoffish with him. And I remember you told me, you're like, why don't you just talk to him about it? I'm like, oh, I'm just, being a baby about things. And you're like, well, do you value holding on to this feeling more, or do you value the relationship more? And I remember I was in a Perkins parking lot on Columbia Road. I called him up and I was nervous. I'm like, hey, how's it going? He goes, good. And I go, do you have a few moments here? He goes, yeah, what's going on? I'm like, well, I first off just want to say thank you so much for all the mentorship and the coaching and support you've given me. It has helped me through some tough times, and I want to make sure that we're always in a good place. You go, oh, of course, of course. And I'm like, I want to share something with you that you might be surprised with, but I want to get clarification if I did something. He goes, well, what do you mean? Well, I feel like I may have did something wrong or something because in the last couple of meetings, and I cited the specific situations that happened. He's like, "Oh my gosh, Tony, no, 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 no. I love you, man. Like you haven't done anything wrong at all. It's just I've had some things in my mind, and I apologize for treating you the way that you felt like I treated you because that's not my intention." And I think I felt a sigh of relief on that. I mean, I held on to that for a week, Danielle. So I think what you said too is like you got to care more about the person and the friendship and the relationship and express your gratitude for it so that way you want to diffuse the anger earlier, right? I mean, why did Blake really tell his anger to his friend? And I'll read that poem again in the beginning. He said, I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath. My wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not. My wrath did grow. So why did Blake readily tell his anger to his friend?
Well, I think with that, he realized that the friendship was more important than what he was upset about.
Hmm. Yeah. He wanted to diffuse his anger right away, didn't he? But how about when it came to Blake's foe?
Well, I think that too probably should be told because sometimes whether you're triggering anger from something that doesn't even matter, it still grabs hold of you and it still dictates the manner in which you react to even the people that are around you that you do care about.
Yeah, because he suffered greatly, right? He said it became a poison tree within his soul because of it. You know, there's a phrase, and we've shared this numerous times. It's in the good book. You can't hide what's in your heart. So sometimes you gotta share it, and to remember that your spirit remains within you and affects how you think and act. So my encouragement, Danielle's encouragement, is that express your feelings peacefully with the help of gratitude, right? So that way you can free yourself, and like you said, of those negative thoughts because they're holding you prisoner, they're only holding you back. And I've seen it play out so many ways in our relationship and other relationships where, like, dude, like, we just gotta talk about it. That 5 minute situation we let hold on for years, and why? Why? So as we finish up here, Danielle, when it comes to expressing your feelings peacefully with gratitude, with the help of gratitude, what would be some final thoughts for you?
Well, I just think it's important to, look at what's upsetting you, and really just understand that you have a power within you that you can either help build a relationship or you can destroy the relationship, and that you need to decide what's more important to you to continue to go around begrudgingly and upset and nothing's wrong, or you can share it and understand that it's only going to help open the lines of communication in your relationship even more when you're able to talk about those types of situations.
No doubt. Well said. And I'll leave this with a quote from Eckhart Tolle. He said, acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. Feelings are there for a reason. You're a human being. We're not asking you to be unemotional. But at the same time, being aware of those emotions and acknowledging those emotions in a way that you can have build the relationships you have out there versus tear them down. So, thank you all for joining. If you found value in today's conversation, please do share this with others on YouTube, Rare Leaders, Twitter, on Tony Jalen, or the Rare Leaders private group in Facebook. Until next week, I'm Tony Jalen. joined by the wonderful.
Danielle Jalen.
Go ahead and be a rare leader. Be someone who's resourceful as a leader, willing to adapt as a leader, resilient as a leader, and willing to engage with others. Onward and upwards.